Alright, the number 188 of my accountability to myself, and I appreciate everyone's attention who watches this because today I've got one idea to share with and another idea to share with. It's not something extremely important or it's not something extremely smart, I don't know, but still it's something that I would like to live here. And also yesterday I was talking about importance of exploring new things in order to broaden your perspective, right? And I remember a nice quote. There's a quote: if you want to get something you never had, you need to do something you've never done before, which basically makes so much sense, right? That's why you should explore, you should try new things, and it's definitely better than not doing those things. You know what I mean? So, about my day, briefly, I woke up almost at 8, low-key late. I was reading for 10 minutes in the morning. I'm not reading that much currently, but anyways, it's better than nothing. My progress is going, and I have less than 25% of the book that I've been reading, The Secret. A great book, I like it. I think I've got the main key takeaway from the book, but still I want to finish it. Well, then I spent about hour and a half to work on my blog because I missed a couple of things, so I just needed to refine my blog. That's basically what I've done. And it turned out that I need to work way more on that, but it's another story. So afterwards, I decided to go to skateboard, and in the city where I'm living, there are one skate park, I would say more or less next to me. I need like to spend 6 minutes to get there. Another skate park a bit further, I need to spend like 20 minutes probably to get there. And third skate park is in the another point, in the another area of my city, and it takes like nearly 35 minutes to get there. And I don't really like those skate parks that are more or less next to me. So I wanted to go to the center because there's a huge flat where I can actually skateboard. And I was hesitating because it's center of the city, and also the city I've been living in is locally historical, and there are always some kind of, how it's called. Wait, I'm so curious how this word is called. I will try to translate it now. Wait. Uh, why do I have French English? Well, probably because it's not French, right? Wait. Oh, come on. Excursion, it will be the same way, bro. It's no way. Excursion is the same way. I've never heard it in English, but it's whatever. So there are a lot of excursions. Just people walk around, huge groups of people, and I felt that I would bother them, and like it's not really nice. But it turned out that normally when I land some kind of tree, someone might start clapping or saying like, yo, that was very good. And those kind of things happens. Someone just approach and says like, oh, that was really nice. So it actually encouraged me, and I'm not really scared to go in that place and to skateboard because I don't really think anymore that I'm gonna bother someone, because it's also so loud every time when you do skateboard, when you pop and when you land or when you don't land the trick. It's such a loud sound, But at the same time, yeah, it was alright, and it took a lot of time. Actually, not that much. I was skateboarding for like 1 hour 30, and I was about to pass out. I swear, because everything in my eyes was getting dark. I just literally lied on the ground, and I was lying like this for for a couple of minutes, and then I just got up and went home. And my legs were really sore, but that's actually amazing feeling, because after skateboarding I'm so hungry, and everything that I drink, everything that I eat feels way better. And as a result, I returned home, and I wasted probably 2 hours and a half just, you know, resting. Or I was like literally lying on my bed, watching some stuff, doing something in my phone. I was like, I realized what I'm doing. It was not unconsciously or something, and I don't really regret about that, because it was sort of recovery that I actually needed in order to uh, proceed my day, put it in this way. And so after that, I went to have my breakfast at 4 p.m. But before the breakfast, when I returned home, it was about 2 2 p.m. when I did um, when I did skateboard, and then when I returned home, it was about 2 p.m. and I ate some stuff. I don't know how to. Oh, I can show it actually. I have one more thing of those. It's actually so nice, because it does not contain too much calories. It has zero sugar. It has zero fat, like almost zero, probably like 0.1, something like that, which is nothing. And it's like, normally I feel that I'm so full after eating this stuff. One pack of those, which is only 100 gram, which is basically nothing. So it's something that I used to eat when I'm cutting, and it's something that I keep eating when I'm cutting, when I'm so hungry and I want to eat something in addition. I can eat this stuff because I'm getting full, and it's, it's not really bad for my cutting. So I ate this at 2 p.m. and then at 4 a.m. I had my breakfast. Then I realized I need to buy cottage cheese to have my dinner. So I went to the store, I returned from the store, I started cooking my dinner, then I started eating my dinner, and as a result, the whole day, lowkey, I wouldn't say it was wrecked, but it was a good day in terms of some kind of rest, in terms of some kind of enjoyment, which I actually needed, I think, because I did skateboard, which is at the same time a lot of cardio, because I don't do cardio in the gym. So sometimes I actually need to skateboard in order to have this cardio. Then I was chilling, then I was eating, then I went to the store, then I was eating again. And then the most interesting, because then I realized, all right, I've got some chilling, so now I need to learn something, to study something. And the first thing that I decided to learn is to listen some more about AI. I convinced that I need to learn more about this, even though nowadays I realize about some more about prompting. I know how to do that. I even have prompts to make prompts, which actually makes this but it's, for some serious approaches, when I want to study something seriously, but at the same time I know how to give a small just a small prompt that I can write on my own. Also, just a basic, but Yeah, I think I mentioned it the last time that AI is something that might create you automated bots that actually execute some kind of work 24 hours a day. And so, yeah, it's something that I want to learn. And also, if you don't even want to create those automated bots, you should understand and be able to apply AI properly, because it will be used everywhere. Like, even today, I think it's used in most of the places, in most of the areas. And like in 1 year, maybe two, I don't know, it doesn't matter. In the future, in the sooner future, it will be used everywhere, like internet, like mobile phones. 30 years ago, also nobody used mobile phones that we have nowadays. 30 years ago, nobody used internet. Almost nobody, probably, or like 50 years ago, all right? 50 years ago, but people started using that, and everyone uses that. Literally everyone. AI, it will be basically the same because it's such a powerful tool. And so the earlier you start learning this, the earlier you get some insights, the better it is for you. Because if you're not gonna adjust to this, no matter how good you are in your field, most likely will be replaced. It does not work everywhere, but for example, there was uh, a great example by Alex Hermosi, that, for example, imagine you're swimming. You started from pools, then you started swimming in lakes, then you started swimming in uh, seas, then you started swimming in oceans. And you're so good, you can go through one point of the ocean to another one, from one coast to another one, on different continents. Like, you're so good and you can overcome any kind of waves, right? And no matter what kind of weather it is, you are so good at swimming. But at some point, it gets hot to that extent that water boils and just evaporates. And no matter how great you are at swimming, it's useless because there's no water anymore. A simple example, let's say counting. You might be just great, you might master this to write everything on the paper. But nowadays, no one uses papers for accounting. You need to be able to do this in Excel or in, on your computer. And if you're 70 years old granny, let's say, and you used to write everything on the paper, most likely you don't really want to implement this shift, meaning you're behind. No matter how good you are at accounting, doing this on the paper, if you cannot adjust to new circumstances, if you don't know how to adjust to new circumstances, to new environment, you become mostly useless behind of a lot of people who are not as good as you, but who are capable of using modern technologies. The same will be with AI. You just need to understand how to use it, and it's crucial, and I realize it. And also, one of the great things that Alex Hermosi mentioned, that it takes only 20 hours to get really good at something, like 20 hours of profound learning. So imagine 20 days in a row, every morning you spend 1 hour studying, like literally studying AI, trying, applying it. In 20 days, you can be better than 90% of the people who use AI nowadays. There are about 800 million people use AI. Most of them use just to ask something simple. Most of them probably are students who just, take a picture of their assignment and ask ChatGPT to solve it. So most of the people actually make themselves more stupid using AI. But it's the same as your phone. Your phone is such a powerful tool. You can learn science, you can learn any kind of skill, you can reach out any kind of person. But most of the people simply prefer scrolling or playing games which does not really have value even tomorrow. So you know, I mean, it's a very powerful tool, but only you decide how you're using it. AI basically the same. It's very powerful tool, but only you decide. Are you gonna make you even more stupid and restrict yourself with opportunity to think, or you're gonna challenge yourself even more to improve your critical thinking, or you're gonna automate something so you don't need to do some kind of repeated work, and you can save even more of your time and invest it in something better. So I would genuinely recommend to study AI, how to use it properly, what kind of AIs there are, and all that stuff. It's something that you're gonna study not in case, but literally in time. It's time to study AI. It will never be better time to start using AI. Every day when you postpone it, it's not gonna bring you more profit if you're studying it in 2 months, in 2 years, you know. The earlier you start, the better it is for you. And another thing also that I wanted to study, that I tried to study, that oh my god, there was such a weird concept. I will mention about it. So I was thinking, you know, sometimes I catch myself with some ideas and I start reflecting on them, but I'm feeling that they are not really polished, and I need more information regarding this question. I need more examples. I need more scientific proofs regarding my assumption. And that's why today I created basically a new chat with ChatGPT. I used prompt, and it's actually insane because I spent 10 minutes, like 5 maybe, to make a prompt. I used it, and I've got a chat where I can send my idea, and ChatGPT is gonna explain it in simple words, then in scientific terms, that give me 4 examples, that ask me some kind of question, you know, like structured information that actually helps me study this topic effectively. Otherwise, if you just don't provide any kind of prompt, you will get pretty generic answer, which is also good, but it's more like mediocrity. You know, I mean, if you start studying something, you're already ahead of 90% of people. But if you start studying it using proper prompts, at least it's just efficient. You use your time efficiently, basically, because instead of every time ask ChatGPT, oh no, I need this, you have a prompt, you have structure, the ChatGPT follow, no matter what topic you are sending to this, it's gonna work based on that structure. And what I decided to learn, what I decided to read about, is how our habits work, why it's so hard to change our habits, why people try to change their life overnight and it does not work. And my assumption that I decided to find some kind of alternative to explain it. For example, imagine a car. There's a car, it goes 150 kilometers per hour, and all of a sudden the person inside the car brakes. Car is not gonna stop. Like you just press brake, and the car, it does not stop immediately. It will move forward, you know, and it will move forward because of inertia, right? So because of physics, you cannot stop something instantly. If you are running, for example, if you're running, you cannot just stop. If you just stop, you will fall. Like you will move forward some more and you will fall, or you will simply just move some more forward because of inertia, right? And how it works with your habits. For example, it's like a marathon. You've been running this marathon for years with your habits. You've been going. You've got incredible speed with your habits. And then overnight, you want just to stop all of a sudden and start running in the opposite direction, which is not gonna work, obviously. First, you need to slow down. First, when you are implementing something new, it's so hard because you are slowing down, because if you operate out of your habits, you don't apply that much energy as how much you need when you implement new habits. You know what I mean? Because when you act upon your habits, you don't really need to think. You just do this automatically. But when you override them, when you're trying to change your habits, to suppress old habits, by the way, you cannot completely get rid of them, you just suppress them and you're creating new habits. When you are creating new habits, it's so hard. Your brain spends a lot of energy because it's supposed to build new patterns. It's supposed to act differently. It's supposed to think differently, which is so hard. And that's why in the beginning, people always start to change their life. Like you've been operating in a specific way for years, and then in 1 week, you're trying to change your life. And for some reason, people fail. Like, why? Obviously, it's not going to work that way. And the reason for that scientific reason, is because, wait, basal ganglia fights with your prefrontal cortex of the brain. I know what's that prefrontal cortex of the brain, but basal ganglia, it's something behind, it's also part of your brain. I have no idea what's that, but it's just a habit system. So it is responsible for your habits. And those two parts, they confront and they start fighting. You know what I mean? And it takes time for your prefrontal cortex to win, because your neurons inside of your brain, inside of your mind, I would say they have such strong roots, and to suppress them and to build new ones, it takes time. Normally, to build a habit, it takes nearly 60 days, actually. And yeah, that's why it's so hard. And that's why one of the reasons you don't need to change your life overnight. You need to start one by one. For example, you decided to go to the gym. Like you want to change your life completely. The first thing you can start, if you don't go to the gym, you can start going to the gym 3 times a week. You're doing this week after week. And when it's something automatic, you can add something more to this. Because, for example, in my case, gym is something non-negotiable. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to consider going to the gym. I know that it's something mandatory. It's part of my life. I'm gonna prioritize it over anything, over any kind of cheap dopamine, like watching reels or something like that. I don't even consider it. For example, when I'm studying, I might struggle in my mind, but I want to open Instagram, this and that. When I'm going to the gym, I don't have it in my mind. It's just a habit. It's literally a form of habit. So I want to read more, because everything that I mentioned about habits, this is my knowledge from my past studying and some of my assumptions. I would say some of my interpretations when I combine it with such definition, with such term as inertia, right? Obviously, it's not directly like this, it's just my interpretation, right? But I want to learn more about this probably tomorrow. I will see how it goes. But yeah, it's also one of very important things that I also will try to explain maybe another time properly, why it's so crucial to study more information about your brain, how it works. Because imagine you're living your life and at some point you realize you feel weakness, you feel laziness, and you don't understand what's the reason for it. You understand the problem, but you don't understand what should you eliminate in your life in order to fix this problem. However, if you study your dopamine system, how it works, what it's get affected by, or when you study your prefrontal cortex of the brain, when you study your habits, when you start your ultradian cycles, how you operate in general, your mind becomes even more broad, and you can at least try something to eliminate something, to try another approach in order to get rid of that problem. Because I personally don't have problems with sleeping at all, because I used to read some researches about that. I even have my article about that, and I understand the importance of this. Why do I need this sleeping? And I understand how circadian rhythms work. That's it. That's why I can manage it. That's why I can understand the value of this, right? And so the more you understand about your body, the more knowledge you have overall. It's even, some kind of things have as illusion of asymmetric insights. Illusion of asymmetric insight, which is also such a nice concept to understand, because you can realize that, oh, I don't really understand what in person's mind. It's my brain makes me believe, it's my cognitive bias that makes me believe that I understand what the person thinks or what that person does, when I don't know what he's doing, just because my brain came out with this idea based on my experience. It's another concept that I wouldn't be able to explain properly nowadays. I learned about this a long time ago, and I wouldn't mind to go some deeper into even this concept. So, but yeah, you start thinking differently, and you have more perspectives, which is also always better. So, two main ideas that I wanted to provide in this video. First, learning AI, crucial nowadays. Second, gaining your knowledge, enriching your mind. It's a great thing. It's something that is actually useful for your life. You can control yourself. You can understand the system underneath, and you can influence that system, because you don't know what should be taken out and what should be implemented in order to change something. All right, that's it for today. 30 minutes video is such a long video though, but well, yeah, I should go to sleep. 11:05 p.m. So yes, that's it. I appreciate everyone's attention, but well, someone watches it. So without being said, see you in the next one.